Thank you very much, Randy. I haven't done this in a while. A YouTube question. This question comes from Joe. I thought it was a good question. We'll answer it on air. Joe writes, I have a Hindu friend who says that his faith in Vishnu is also a state of trust grounded in reason. Now, he obviously thinks that his faith is correct, just as you think your faith is correct. So how is someone going to tell the difference between the faith that you profess and the faith that my friend professes? Is there a way to tell which faith is correct? I think the answer to that question is absolutely. If you think about Hinduism, the first thing that ought to come into your mind is their fixation on reincarnation. In other words, for a Hindu, the hope is the transmigration of the soul. But that isn't based in reason. That's a Hindu fantasy. Conversely, as a Christian, I believe in resurrection. I believe that Jesus died and rose again. Now, I don't believe that through blind faith. Rather, I believe that as a result of faith rooted in irrefutable fact. And my go-to is always the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, because there he gives a four-part argument for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. He begins by saying Christ died for our sins. In other words, he begins by saying Jesus Christ suffered fatal torment. If there wasn't a death, there wouldn't be a resurrection. Now, that point is largely conceded. The second thing, says Paul, is that Christ was buried. Not only buried, but he was buried in an identifiable tomb, and that tomb was empty. Christianity simply cannot survive an identifiable tomb containing the corpse of Jesus Christ. The third thing, says Paul, is that Christ appeared and he gave many convincing proofs that he had indeed risen from the dead. And finally, he talks about transformation, not only transformation of others, but his own transformation. He gave up a posh position, to say the least, in order to become a follower of Jesus Christ. And he ultimately paid the price of capital punishment for his decision. Persecution, ultimately death. Now, as I've said many times, it's conceivable that someone would die for what they firmly believe to be true, but inconceivable that millions like Paul would die for what they knew to be a lie. So again, my point is simply this. The Hindu scriptures are giving you an idea that's based on wild speculation. Christianity is rooted in history and evidence, and that's why we say how firm a foundation, you saints of the Lord, is laid for your faith in his excellent word. So the idea, as the Hindus say, that all of reality is a continuum or simplified whole, there's no real distinction between morals and mice, is simply untrue. The goal of human liberation in Hinduism is liberation from reincarnation. The goal in Christianity is resurrection. The difference could not be more stark. I've written about Hinduism in my book, The Complete Bible Answer Book, Collector's Edition, revised and updated. You can find it on the web at equip.org or write me at Box 8500, Charlotte, North Carolina, zip code 28271.